And I'm sick of feeling hollow. Running out of things that I have to do. Eating sushi out in Malibu. Back to Canada, I flew the coop. Cause peace is something I ain't never knew. I always act like I be out of time, yeah. I have no pressure but the pressure I put on myself. Lately I do whatever I like, yeah. Cause I used to do you. Feeling like I'm on top, no underdogging. Been around the block, I'm checking places I've been. I will never stop when that green light stay glowing. Cause I used to do you. And I'm sick of feeling hollow, hollow now. I don't follow no hollow, hollow dreams. And I'm sick of feeling hollow, hollow now. I don't follow no hollow, hollow dreams. 5 years touch a road with no road stops. And I ain't even stopped for no roadblocks. It's hard to see the sun when you're head down. Just a king with a pencil and a lead crown. Yeah, I'm a beast with this shit. All I do is think about it. Got the keys to the shit. Used to doubt it, now they bout it. I'ma show you that love for the times I never got it. Cloud9's an understatement when you used to go to sleep. Feeling hollow, hollow now. I don't follow no hollow, hollow dreams. And I'm sick of feeling hollow, hollow now. I don't follow no hollow, hollow dreams. Feeling like I'm on top, no underdogging. Been around the block, I'm checking places I've been. I will never stop when that green light stay glowing. Cause I used to do you. And I'm sick of feeling hollow. And I'm sick of feeling hollow. Feeling like it's almost time. See you through the half-closed blinds. I come from where the sun don't shine, so nobody can fuck with mine. I put my pain in a Louis bag, tears in a glass. Put it down, don't look back. I put my words on a pedestal, far where I land. Real love, no romance. Sometimes I get lost in outer space. Claustrophobic, I feel out of space. Nothing's ever lost, I'll give it to you. So will you carry this weight for me? I've been carrying this weight on me now. It's all coming down on my conscience. So tell me you'll be my way out. Carry this weight for me. I've been carrying this weight on me now. It's all coming down on my conscience. So tell me you'll be my way out. Driving down this road again, feel just like an old friend. Looking in the rear view, 39th, I feel the snow again. Hit a couple stoplights, think it's time I go again. It's hard to control it when I put my pain in a Louis bag, tears in a glass. Put it down, don't look back. I put my words on a pedestal, far where I land. Real love, no romance. Sometimes I get lost in outer space. Claustrophobic, I feel out of space. Nothing's ever lost, I'll give it to you. So will you carry this weight for me? I've been carrying this weight on me now. It's all coming down on my conscience. So tell me you'll be my way out. Carry this weight for me. I've been carrying this weight on me now. It's all coming down on my conscience. So tell me you'll be my way out. Carry this weight for me. I've been ain't nothing to carry now. Only headed where I let it know. It's all coming down on my conscience. So tell me you'll be my way out.
Good morning. Good afternoon. It's a little bit of a dump day, a dump morning. We'll go ahead and jump right into it. No fluff. No fluff, no bluff. Hold on, give me a second. I didn't look at myself before we started. Okay. I don't look like too much trash. Alright, I did just wake up just a little bit ago. Slept in today. And we started dumping, so I figured I'd hop on Livestream. So as it sits, the positions are just the Tron short. I did end up getting stopped out of the Bitcoin long a total of 5 minutes ago. Now, we took that long a little bit late, so technically, if we entered it the way that we were supposed to, you know, based off of this little tiny ABC structure here, we would still be in that trade, but that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and back out of this. So we had the Tron short open. Tron, I am kind of disappointed in the overall what's happened with Tron. Obviously, if this was to become a reality on all the exchanges, that would have been quite awesome. Hopefully, you know, if you're looking at this from like a pattern perspective, this is a bear flag, and we should have one more stretch to the downside. Let me go check out the some other exchanges and see where that low ended up. So that low on Binance was 15.5. Let me see where. Okay, so just a little bit lower. Around this local low here was where that low ended up. So I am hoping that Tron gets one more set to the downside. You know, if we're looking at this as a possible continuation pattern to the upside, hopefully we get one more stretch to the downside, retesting this region here, and then forming that larger ABC structure with the low off of 15.5. That would be pretty cool, and that would be some good profit in my pocket. Let's see if we can get a take profit somewhere around 15.1. 0.151. It'll be about $43. I wouldn't be too sad with that. Obviously, it's no $70, which is what we had at the low of this wick on LBank. But so be it if it doesn't happen. Now, as it goes for BTC, if we do happen to push down a little bit lower, there is the opportunity to take another position, one that's a little bit more secure, and definitely we could target possibly a continuation to the upside. I'm not necessarily convinced that this could be the final ABC low, but we're definitely getting to that point. You know, combined with the macro, especially if this ends up around the same region that we had our last ABC low, which was right here. A, B, C. All right, so technically, like if you're still holding on to this ABC long position, you haven't been stopped out yet. And to me, if we happen to get that lower low off of 57,862, that's definitely a better ABC long position than the original one that we took. Now that one was with the expectation that it wasn't going to be the low. I did hope to get a retest of, you know, like around the 61.5 region. it didn't end up coming to fruition, but that's just how things work out sometimes. So if we do happen to put in the low here, I would not be opposed to taking a long position and more than likely holding on to it. I wouldn't be looking to take short-term profit at 62,637. If we got a ABC short position up there, I'll probably hedge it. But other than that, I would be looking for a continuation to the upside and to retest some of these larger resistances before even considering anything such as a take profit. Let me go ahead and see if I can get a... I don't think LBank is on TradingView. Yeah, maybe not. So we'll just use Binance's chart. And that way I can mark this out for people in the group, just in case they're not here. Uno momento while I set this up. So I mean, if this works out appropriately, that'll be a 19 restored ratio trade. Obviously, once, you know, a couple stop outs, maybe a couple hedge positions that end up failing, you know, maybe it might come out to more of like a 15-14, but that's still good in my book. What am I missing here? I am missing a price label. So, go. Now, like, my honest feeling about it is this necessarily the strongest ABC for a bottoming pattern? No, but it is better than the last one. And like I said, in combination with the fact that it would be forming along this particular ABC support, and then we have some extra layers of support underneath us as well, it's getting to that point where it could be the final low. So it's all a matter of probability, and if we get that position, definitely don't want to miss it. We haven't got it yet, so it's a matter of patience. Let me go ahead and take a little screenshot, post it to the group so people know what my thoughts are. Just give me 1 minute. I think that's all I really need to say there. Okay, now that we got everything kind of like sorted. Twixie, what's going on, man? He said, hey, what's up? Better keep that Tron short open. Absolutely. It was kind of our hedge the entire time. First, it was our hedge against our psychology. Now it's our hedge against what possibly could be the bottom of this downtrend. Alan Clark, good afternoon. Murat, is that how you say it? Murat? I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry, but good afternoon, good morning. Rick, let's get it today, boys. 8 a.m. here in Cali. Up bright and early. Hey, Kite, do you know how to fly a kite? Yeah, you kind of just hold it and start sprinting as hard as you can. Now, kite surfing, I've seen some crazy people that do insane things. I don't think I could be a kite surfer. Those people are freaks of nature. All right, so we're looking for I'm on my exchange in particular. We're looking for a lower low than 57,854 in order to get that entry on Bitcoin. Hey, buddy. Crypto Junkie, good morning, buddy. How you doing? Hey, man, can you look at Gari Network? It looks like it's super low liquidity. I can say that. In terms of macro positions, you know, you really need to get back above 0.009 to have any sort of semblance of good market structure for continuation of the upside. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's a brand new coin with low liquidity. There's not much I can say on the smaller time frames. All I can really say is that level would be an okay position to hop in and play off of that. Other than that, there's nothing super duper to read into. So the hope would be is that Bitcoin and Ethereum would be sitting in long positions at the same exact time. Ethereum is lagging behind here a little bit, unfortunately, so it has a little bit farther to go before we put in that ABC. Now that would be, you know, kind of sitting around that region of this previous support. And obviously if we failed there, we could be returning back down to 2,165. So I got a good feeling about some of these setups coming up. I'm on the fence about some of them, so I'm not exactly convinced, but we will see. We will see. LTC has a to a B to a C that ended up not working out to the downside here. We didn't end up putting in a higher high to create this structure. So, I mean, technically at this moment in time on LTC, there is an opportunity to go long. Interesting. Disclosure, kids, I'm not trying to like offend you. Like when I say it's a newer coin, I mean it's a newer coin. All right, 2 years old is not an old coin. And based off of the candles, I can see that's the liquidity, and that in terms of like, I come at it from a trading perspective. All right, and in trading, I need good liquidity in order to make sure the supports and resistances hold. That way, we have good trades. on newer coins. That could be 2 years old. All right. You tend to have a lot more instances of low liquidity where supports and resistances are not necessarily respected. All right, it's no offense towards you. All right, you shouldn't get your identity wrapped up in an altcoin. That's just what I see. You said Sol ABC on the 4-hour. I do see that, actually. Fish buddy. Everything will be taken care of in just a little bit. He's been getting his breakfast early, so now he expects it. He's a little demanding guy. But yeah, I see that. That is definitely appetizing. I mean, it's a very large structure. There's not much resistance along this trend line here. So really you would be targeting the previous high of 163 to, if not, 194. And I mean, Sol has had some good ABC long positions over the past bit of sideways price action that we've had. We had the ABC long here, we had ABC long here. There was an ABC short position. Obviously, with it being an altcoin, there was issues with kind of that area, but it doesn't look like it was too bad. You know, just a little bit of flip-flopping back and forth, but it figured it out. So, where are we at right now? Are we back above? So, I mean, the entry on that would be about 135.86. I mean, we're still below the A. So, nothing to be had yet. But thank you for bringing that to my attention. I mean, that's a really decent ABC long position. I mean, let's see. That'd be about 36%. I'll keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. It's a really good ABC long. And then, I mean, you would have, I mean, and this is the thing about ABCs. Once again, a lot of the videos where I put out ABC tutorials, they always talk about how, like, it's easy to see it in past tense, but you can see it in future tense as well. So I can see this ABC, and I know if I get back above 135.86, I would like to take that trade. But beyond that point, all right, it just takes a little bit of forethought to say, okay, well, this is an A, this is a B, even though this is an ABC within the B wave that we would take a long position off of. All right, if we put in a higher high, well, then that would become an even larger ABC short position, which then we could take a hedge trade off of and basically lock in our profits between this region and pretty much play it to either or side. So, like, you know, whether or not that's a month from now, I can see that ABC short position if things continue the way that they would continue. So, I don't quite understand people that can't see the ABCs and be like, you know, it's easy to say it in the past, but to play it in present tense is. Right, can you show how to identify ABCs? There's no, like, easy answer. It's not like higher high, lower low, you know, this is a completed trend. It's more of a visual thing. So, I mean, the best way to do it would probably go use Hakonishi candles. It helps you identify trends better. But essentially it comes down to you're trying to filter out the noise and kind of look at the maximums and the minimums of trends. So if I start at my highest point here and I'm starting to work to the right, all right, I start tracing. So I have A, I have B, and I have C. Okay, I'm drawing my my maximum to my minimum to my maximum to my minimum. All right, that's how I do it. Now, of course, if you were to zoom in, you do start seeing A to B to C, and then obviously that had an extension, A to B to C, but that's something that you deal with on the smaller time frames. But overall, it helps you give yourself a better idea of what would be considered bullish and what would be considered bearish. So on Ethereum, for example, from a macro perspective, I'm not exactly bullish on the market until we're back above 2,814. All right, you can see we use that as support, resistance. So the hope would be now is on the shorter term time frames, create a ABC long position to help us get back above this region. Now, unfortunately, we would have an ABC short position around that region as well. So it becomes, once again, like a battleground. If we happen to go back below 2,814, it would be even extra bearish because we have the immediate pattern. And what I'm talking about there would be this right here. A to B to C. All right, so we would have the immediate pattern, which is a bearish pattern. And obviously we have the overall understanding that below that level is bearish, above that level is bullish. So what we would really want to see is we want to see price action pump generously above and then come back down and then use that as support in the future for continuation to the upside. But that's the gist of ABCs. All right, it's downtrend, uptrend, downtrend is a long position, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend is a short position. And you can do it in real time, and it's not something that you can only do on historical price action, because if you can see a downtrend to an uptrend, and even if there is no starting downtrend yet, you can go, okay, well, now if we go back down to this level and we put in a lower low and we come back above, I can enter long there. All right, it doesn't matter if we're actually below that level and you're waiting on for it to come back up above, or if we're all the way up here and we haven't even started the trend really yet. You can spot that ABC and you can start preparing for it. All right, it's the same thing with Sol, where I can look many months ahead and spot an ABC short position. And it's not that an ABC short position means that price action is going to go down. It's a level of if this and that. If that becomes a confirmed short position, if we cannot stay above such level, then we are probably going to be retesting previous local lows, at least within the immediate pattern. All right. So for Bitcoin, for example, all right, we had an A, we had a B. All right. Now I took a long position based off of the ABC that was within the B wave, and then I'm with the expectation that this could turn into a larger A to B to C, and if price action cannot continue to stay above 62,935, then we would most likely want to go back down to retest previous supports within that trend, which is what we're currently doing. So like this, some people would go, we found support here because of the 0.382, 0.618 pocket, golden pocket, Jimmy John's. But to me, these are layers of support. Regardless of if they line up with the 0.618 or whatever, that's not my issue. All right. Our strongest layer of support would be 56,225. So if we do get another downtrend, I probably would expect it to find support around that region, give or take. and then we play it into a larger pattern. So it's an if this and that statement. That's all it is. Now, if we get above the A of what is now an ABC, and we never get back below the A, well then price action has the availability to continue. All right, there's going to be ABCs that work out and come back below their levels and see a nice retracement, and there's going to be ABCs that they might form, but they might not confirm, and then they continue. And that's okay. You know, like right here, for example, is a really good one. You know, we had A to B to C, and price action came back below that level, but the market remained bullish. We pumped back above, ended up finding support on a smaller term time frame, and continued to the upside. But overall, as things start to happen, we had A to B to C, and we ended up confirming to the downside on a larger structure. And then obviously at the current moment in time, our important level is this right here. All right. As long as we can stay above 53,605. So like 53,605 is kind of like what I would expect on the extreme side of things. Like if we don't find support at 56.5, then there is a good chance that we come back down and retest that level. And it's always an if this and that statement. If we come back below 53,565, well then we can probably come back down and retest for 49,300. If we can't hold 49,300, we're probably going to go back down to 38.6. And it's not me being bearish, it's me saying if this and that. And if such and such was to happen, then I would start leaning on the side of bearishness. That's all it is. Good morning, Isaiah. What stop loss size would you use for Sol? I'm considering to the upside, there's about like 35-38% profit to be had to the last local high on a macro scale. You could use a 1% with the understanding that you probably are going to get stopped out maybe a couple times, so you might want to use a little bit less risk in total, but overall maybe like a 1.5% stop loss wouldn't hurt you, give you a little bit of extra buffer, maybe save your head from a headache trying to play those entries. But there's a lot of profit potential, with Bitcoin. If we were to put in that ABC long position and we come back up to the all-time high here, just this last local high is 22%, this one is 25%, and this one will be 28%. So you're making extra profit on Sol that you wouldn't have the availability to make on Bitcoin. So maybe, tone your greed down a little bit, use a little bit larger stop loss. There's still good profit to be made. You're really on a roll, not complaining. Thank you. What size stop loss would you use for Sol? Oh, I already answered that, my bad. Today's monthly candles will be closed. Red September coming. I don't know, man. I don't know. I obviously that's one statistic that you can use to kind of gauge whether or not you would be bullish or bearish. And statistically, September is a dump month. To me, I think there's so many people looking at that they're really not looking at the chart. They're kind of just looking at those statistics. I'm not denying that we can still dump. All right, like I said, we have enough availability all the way down to 53,000 to dump. But that being said, overall, I do view the chart as bullish, And I think we could have a green September. You know, maybe not by the end of it. Who knows? Maybe we get a nice pump to the upside through September, and at the very last week, you know, we put in an ABC top and we blah, 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 all the way back down. And then it's a red month for September. And right now the account is at about $260. 70 USDT was withdrawn, but I'm still keeping that within the margin. So the restored calculator at the moment would be something like this. For the majority of our trades. 50x leverage, 5% portfolio at risk, 1% stop loss. And now this is only because I'm using a smaller account, that if I was to blow it up, I could just throw the money back in. If you are using your portfolio, you know, if that's $5,000, $10,000, all right, I don't think you should be using 5% portfolio risk. All right, if you like to live on the edge, maybe you go and use 2%. But if everything's going well, then why screw that up? You know, just use 1%. You'll still make a lot of money. Just let your stuff compound. All right. And trust me, once we, you know, if this account gets up to 1K, 5K, 10K, the portfolio will start being reduced in risk. You still use Kelly Criterion? Yeah. I mean, it's not something that like I have to calculate every single time I take a trade. And with the amount of time that I've been using ABCs, and I kind of understand the win ratio and the R&Rs that we can see, you know, Kelly Criterion, I think last time that we did it with the current tracked potential, it was telling us to use like, it was telling us to use around like, I think 4% risk or 5% risk. So a quarter Kelly Criterion would be around the 1 to 2% mark. So it's not something that like I put a lot of emphasis on. It's more something that like if someone's using another strategy that they haven't tested, and they're using 20% risk, then yeah, they should probably go learn how to use Kelly Criterion. What about the ABC on BTC Weekly? I mean, I'm on a 2-hour chart right here. Is this the ABC that you're referring to on the weekly chart? Oh, you're talking about like, okay, the overall. All right, so the reason why I'm not too heavily concerned on this ABC on the weekly chart is because of the other macro factors that play into Bitcoin. We are currently in the post-halvening stage where we have a huge supply shock of Bitcoin. So given that fact, all right, even though the resistance here was used as a reason for me to take some of the short positions and be bearish, and you know, in the past say, hey, you know, we probably could go back down and retest $49,000, and people were like, that's freaking ridiculous. I think it's going to be a similar situation to like what I showed off on the smaller time frame, kind of like right here. Or we might have an ABC position that ends up confirming to the downside, but overall I do think, oh, well, crap. Overall I do think that the market is bullish enough where we will have some sort of retracement, but overall continue the trend to the upside. So even though we might have an ABC that works out in terms of confirm, I do think overall the other factors of Bitcoin is going to force it past that. Now, if we're like maybe 2 years from now and we see a macro ABC like that again, yeah, that's going to probably play into my plan and give me a reason to be ultra super duper bearish, because at that point, you know, the supply shock has been factored in and price discovery has kind of come to a screeching halt. At that point, we can start looking at it as a super bearish thing. Now, the NASDAQ Inc. is something that I want to keep an eye on for the next couple of weeks. It hasn't happened yet, but if we come back down below $68.80 on the NASDAQ company index, not index, NASDAQ Incorporated, I am calling for another recession in the United States. I will tell you the exact day that we have gone into the recession, and then more than likely we would be targeting $22, and then hopefully forming some sort of ABC position on the way down, and I can tell you the exact day that the recession ends. That would be pretty cool, right? But we are still above the A. On the medium time frames, we have an A to a B to a C. A to B to C. So maybe a little bit of an earlier entry on the death of all things. Ooh. Did we put that in? No, almost. All right. Let me kind of clear this up real quick. 57,844. And we're looking at a $26 margin, the $13 risk. And then I really would like a long position on Ethereum, because there is a lot of profit potential back up to that high. And if we got our entry here and was lucky enough to retest some of these resistances, I mean, that's 66%, that's 70%. So I mean, I really would like a position on Ethereum. Obviously, the macro position wouldn't necessarily be that bad. You know, that would be here, but that's still 26%, 40%. So if I can get something down here where I don't have to worry about getting stopped out in this region here, that would be optimal. That would 100% be optimal. So hopefully a little bit more bearishness comes in and we can get a wick off those lows. Honestly, why not catching an ABC down on NASDAQ with insane risk and keeping that open for the next years to come? You may lose trying to catch the ABC, but once the market recovers, it's only up. I mean, that's the idea, right? That's the idea. I mean, just look at what happened with the SPY. You know, if we're looking on the daily chart here. All right, so we had ABC top on the SPY. All right, and you actually even got an earlier entry. You could have exited the SPY October 18th, 2007. All right, you didn't exactly have to wait for the macro setup here, but you would have entered short, kind of around June of 2008, and you would have re-entered the market March of 2009. So like you said, get out of the market at the top and get back in at the bottom, and now you have plenty of years, up to this next possible at 747%.
Did you finish that track that goes? And it's like dubstep and shit.
We just need a little bit more bear price action here to confirm that entry. I do want to keep an eye on Sol. You bringing that up definitely interests me. Still not back above. All right, that's it. 136. So I'm curious, what was the overall statistic of this month? So August, typically, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, is usually a down month, and we did align with that. I don't know. I think it might be a green month. That's just my feeling about it. Just based off of the current structure. It doesn't seem like we have a lot of downside potential. We don't really have any like macro ABC structures that are screaming super downside. But we will see. Creedmoor, what's going on? How you doing, buddy? Doing good. We woke up about an hour and a half ago. Market was dumping. Hopped on stream. Looking for a possible potential long entry on BTC, which I'm not wholly convinced on its potential to be an actual bottom. You know, and partly it's also my bias. Like, I really would like Ethereum to retest this low and put in the ABC position. LTC has an ABC position, so I mean that's LTC could definitely turn bullish. Nothing really on XMR. Nothing really on KDA. KDA, we look at the more macro. ADA, actually. What is ADA at right now? What's ADA's profit potential? It has 100% profit potential. So even if I use a 3% stop loss to make sure that I don't have to really deal with this, that still puts it at like a 30 restored ratio. Am I wrong? Yeah, it puts it at a 34 restored ratio. Maybe a 2.5%. Okay, I'm gonna let's see. I think I might keep the 5% margin on that, but we're definitely increasing. It to a 2.25. So 22x leverage, $26 margin. Don't know if I want to enter that now or wait until Bitcoin has its confirmation of at least some sort of bullishness. Let's see, what would be, how far can it fall here? It could still have a little bit of wiggle room. I would probably be willing to enter this one more time if I got stopped out. Because once again, I'm not sold on the idea that we're at the low. Alright, there's definitely the potential that this could turn into one more layer of structure before I, am really convinced. But obviously, time is starting to run. I'm going to take the entry. The ABC is there. And I am going to be using a larger stop loss just to not have to deal with all that, but it is there. So, do I want to use less risk on this? Because I am not sold. I'm not sold on that. Yeah, and maybe we take it down to like 4% risk instead of 5. If we hit a 40 risk reward ratio trade, that's still plenty of profit to the portfolio. We'll go with that. So 20.8. What's the background music now? It's just random stuff off of YouTube music. I always start off with Air Wing Marine on YouTube, and then eventually it just shuffles to something else. Hey, buddy. Are you cooking food for yourself now? Some days not. For the most part, I try to. You know, whether it's just something simple like steak and rice. Do you accumulate currently? I do some DCA on alts, but I'm scared on BTC's downside potential. We'll hold an average though. You know, if you're buying off the macro ABCs on Bitcoin, then yeah, I think that's okay to DCA into. But I mean, the time to DCA into Bitcoin was a very long time ago when we were hitting local lows from the previous bull market. That was the time to DCA into Bitcoin. I'm not saying that you can't add to Bitcoin right now, but it's not like the best potential, you know, R&R wise. Okay, so we haven't entered the ADA trade yet because by the time we got everything set up, we are back below the A. So it doesn't make sense for us to enter something like that. Good morning. Got my Palau residency card last night. Back on Bybit. My short's up 60%. That's what's up, man. That is what's up. I might be joining you in the future. Who knows? Really, buddy? Dude, hey. Hey, just relax. Would like to see 50K if you think that's possible. Not at the moment. Like my maximum potential for downside would be around 53,500. If we can break 53,500, then we can come back down to 49,500. If we can break 49,500, then we have the potential for 38,500. Are you longing ADA? If we can come back above the A right now, I I probably will. Larger stop loss, reduced percentage risk, all that jazz. What's the cost value again? I'm looking for 20.8. All right, buddy. Relax. Hello, Kite. Hope you're doing well. Did we miss anything so far? Not really. Just kind of looking at the market as a whole, seeing if there's any potential opportunities. I'm still sitting my short position on Tron. Other than that, I did get stopped out of my Bitcoin long from the smaller time frame ABC from the other day. We didn't reach the profit potential that I was really hoping for, so I didn't end up taking profit. Who even is this guy? I'm your papa. I am papa. I think Mexi has better fees. I gotta do so much to delete my account and start a new one. We looked at the fees on Albank the other day. The maker fee is 0.02%. The taker fee, market fee, is 0.06%. And spot fees are even lower. Well, not lower, but obviously future trading fees are based off your contract size, so it all depends on what you're doing. When are we getting crypto merch? I don't think there's a real big necessity for crypto merch. You don't want to get beat up in public, do you? Albank fees even get a 35% discount code. It's good. Also talking about taker, not maker. Never heard of Albank. Do you like that exchange? Why do you use it? I use it because I didn't have the availability to KYC for Bybit. They reached out to me, and they are the most honest from all of the exchange offers I received. I got exchange offers from Mexi and KuCoin, some of the other ones, Fairdesk. I got a lot of different trading offers for them to try to get me to promote their website. There was some shady things that I didn't agree with. Albank, I asked them for an upfront fee. They agreed to it. And they aren't trying to force you guys to go to the copy trading section, all that kind of stuff. They didn't offer me a fake account that looks like the real website. So I went with them. There was a couple gripes that I had, about their UI when I first started using them. They've since then gotten better, and I'm sure things will only get better. And obviously there's some missing coins. I can't trade KDA on here, unfortunately. Hopefully in the future. But until then. And all right, I guess we're hopping back in this. Oh, I'm so dumb, man. I'm so dumb. Hold on. Every time. I wish it would just stick with my settings. Alright, so what am I missing here? 22x leverage. Isolated, alright. Alright, there we go. Now that should equal what I want it to equal. Yeah, about 10 bucks. There we go. And I don't really look to be taking short-term profit on this. Obviously, there would be a hedge position available at 40 cents. That's the only thing I can see so far. But, I mean, I would be aiming to take profit at like 68 cents. So, I mean, that would be $448 worth of profit. What would be the percentage on that? That'd be like what, 2,000% on margin. Like I said, I'm not convinced yet. All right, I mean, it could be just a double bottom. I don't think so, but you know, I would like to see Bitcoin push down a little bit lower, put in that lower low, come back above, in order for me to really be confident in that trade. Let's go look at Sol real quick. Sol, we have to get back above 136.1, well, 136.15 in order for me to enter long on that. I'm already signed up with your link and started trading with it since it doesn't require KYC. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Like I said, it's a really good way to kind of give me a kickback if you find success with ABCs. I'm still sitting in a short position from 62,000, just looking for a hedge long position. I mean, the hedge long position was at 53,500. 62K sounds like a lot, so I was thinking a little bit differently. I was thinking you were short from one of these highs up here, you know, like 68. But let me use a different chart here. I believe it's 61.9 for a lot of different charts. 62,700. So yeah, if you're long short off of this ABC here, and you're still confident in downside, I don't necessarily think that this long position should shake you out. If you took a hedge trade off of that, you know, could save your ass, but I'm still thinking that we're going to see something like this. But we will see. We will see. I really want Ethereum to dump just in order to get this long position. I gotta turn on my air conditioner here. I'm gonna go ahead and get Wordle knocked out for today. That way, once I'm ready to go, I don't have to stress. Raise. Oh, not. Alright, we got A N E. Alright, we knocked out some letters. We got the position of the A. Is there any other word I can create? That's not really going to be a good guess here. I mean, it's not the word because a lot of those letters aren't available. But I was hoping to get a better clue. Blank blank A blank E. It's the New York Times, so usually it's a word that's not that difficult, but and I just don't see a word that I can make to kind of get a better clue. Damn. Wasn't Gooch. Shoot, man. We only got a couple letters left here. And I have no clue. We have 3 letters. We know where 2 of them are. Let me do like blank blank A-N-E. Alright, so that makes the most sense to me. A-N-E makes the most sense to me. Now, what would be... This is not an easy one. Is it possible to ask Elbank to add the funding fee right beside the opening position? The funding fee. I'm sure they could do that, but I don't think there's any other website that... I mean, Bybit does that, right? Man. That's not even it. Okay, so I was on the wrong track the entire time. We have one guess left. And it's not A-N-E. And none of these letters make sense to me. So it would have to be like N-F-A or V-N-A. I'm about to just give up. This is... And when I see the word, it's going to make so much more sense. But at the same time, I just can't see it. Man. I'm just gonna give up. I can't. I don't know what this would be. Knave? What is a knave? A dishonest, unscrupulous man? Alright. Whoever came up with today's word is obviously a hardcore feminist that hates men. What? Knave? Knav? Nav? How do you pronounce it? Is it Nav? Knave?
Knave.
It's knave. Frickin' knave. How? I'm pissed. Never have I ever seen them use such a stupid word. That who uses that? I have never once used that word besides like navel. All right, but that's not even how. Who has ever said that word? When's the last time that this word? All right, this word's peak popularity was in the 1800s. And you're telling me that someone in 2024 is supposed to know what this word means? You gotta be joking. Screw Wordle. I don't want to play this anymore. I'll be using that at work today. Fucking dumb knave. It sounds so dirty to say. Dishonest, unscrupulous man. Someone's gonna be like, I know what that word means. I read Mary Poppins. All right, well, good luck to you. Christ. Why long 88 before BTC confirms? Because sometimes one might confirm over the other. So like, you know, Bitcoin, for example, versus Ethereum. Ethereum might not have an ABC long position. Doesn't mean that's not going to go up. Where BTC long does confirm that it might go up. So, you know, there could be a possibility for a double bottom on BTC, not necessarily an actual ABC, whereas something else might be showing signs of bullishness in its own separate tense. I mean, just like Tron, for example. All right, Tron had an ABC short position, but hasn't exactly done that well. So, I mean, coins work out differently. So ADA might be able to find support before BTC does, so on and so on. I just took it because that's the position available. And like I said, it is of that understanding that it is a more risky setup because of the other factors in play. So I did use a larger stop loss with less risk potential from the actual portfolio. If I was playing on Bitcoin, I'd be using a 1% stop loss with 5% risk. Over here, I'm using a 2.25% stop loss with 4% risk. I'm not saying that it's the best thing that you can possibly do, but given all the factors you know, using less risk, higher stop loss, I'm willing to kind of take a shot at the dark in it. And if I get stopped out of this, then we're pretty decently below, and I won't have to worry about that entry again for the foreseeable future. Now, if BTC can just dump a little bit more, we can finally put in that trade position. We just have to see a lower low than 57,831. And that would confirm a long position for Bitcoin. Like I said, I am not 100% convinced that that would be the low. I still think that it's at this point a high likelihood that we see an A to a B to a C that's of a larger caliber. But you know, if the past is kind of given any indication that, you know, we tend to come back up to the top of the range pretty fast. So I'll take the position if it's there. Come on, please. Please. I just need it to dump a little bit more and then come back above support. Let me turn the music back on. I was wondering why I was feeling the silence of the earth. Oh, there we go. All right, so no, I was ill prepared. No, please come back. Let's see. 10% would be 26. 1% stop loss would be 50. 50, 26. Oh no, it's getting away. Open long. There we go. All right, now add our stop loss immediately. Then the 1%. There we go. Boom. Done. Now, we gotta kind of test the waters and see if we continue dumping here. And as for Sol, Sol would still need to come back above 136, just about. So we still got some time for that to do its thing. I have a 10K portfolio, and I'm using $200 to start a small trade portfolio. Now setting at $800. Hopefully, it can build it bigger. That's actually really good. Good job on that, man. 400% increase to that. I gave it a little bit of thought. I was watching this trader on YouTube that Although I really do get a lot of scamming. He does a lot of stuff with prop firms and stuff like that. And I like to watch other people just to kind of see if I can spot, knowing what I know, whether or not I can spot any illegitimacy. And although I didn't agree with like 99% of the stuff that he said, he did bring up an interesting strategy that's kind of similar to the flight takeoff strategy, where if you have like $20,000, if you take $200, $500 of that and you play incredibly risky with it, and then once you hit a certain goal, you add it back to the main portfolio, I could see how that could be interesting way to approach the market, where like you're incredibly risky and you kind of treat that account as a separate entity. But in reality, if you lost that $200, $500, you're only losing, 2%, 3% from the total. But you could do some magical stuff with it. I think the last long trade that I'll be opening would be the Sol long, just because of the size of the ABC. I have a lot more confidence in that one. Now, although Ethereum is super, super appetizing, we just don't have the availability to get into a long position on Ethereum. Unless we dump down more, of course. Which I'm not opposed to. But unfortunately, at this moment in time, it does not look like it's going to happen. And now, if we see, $70,000. $68,000 would be 220, and then 70K would be 264. And just because we're still at the entry point, for shits and giggles, I will throw the idea out there. Actually, no, I probably won't post the ADA trade because, well, fucking, you know, transparency and all that. We'll do that as well. I'll post the setups. Whether or not people take them, that's on them. So ADA. Now, all of these trades that I'm taking in this range, these are holds. All right. Since we're towards the bottom of a lot of these ABCs, and I'm looking at this as just retests, until we get hedge positions or the availability to take continuation longs, these are holds. I'm not looking to take short-term profit off of these. And then Soul. I'll probably be using like a 1.5% on Soul just because of the size of the trade setup. It is an altcoin, but the size of the trade setup does give me a little bit more confidence in that. And I'm debating whether or not to take profit on the Tron short. Because to me, most of the larger caps, Bitcoin, Ethereum, have kind of hit their goals. You know, if this is going to be just a retest, I think it has tested what's necessary. But I also don't want to leave myself open to downside potential without any sort of cover. I mean, at this point, I have 2 long positions open, and obviously I'm eyeing a third with Soul. So even if Tron was to completely turn to nothing, I think I might just leave it open as that cover in case a Black Swan event or something was to happen. I think that's the move. Yeah, I hate to see the profit go to waste, but I think it makes more sense to leave it open at this moment in time. yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, if we can keep these regions, hopefully we really don't have to pay attention anymore for the rest of the week. I'm very sad that Ethereum didn't offer us a position. I mean, it could be telling. It could say that we have a little bit more downside price action in the tank, but Ethereum sometimes just doesn't give the entry, and that's okay. If I don't see the entry, I can't take the entry. You know, there's been plenty of times where Ethereum just kind of comes down, straight back up, without giving any sort of particular reason for doing so. Maybe in the future, you know, if we can get past this price level here, and we see some sort of ABC coming back down to retest, you know, I'll probably take part in that, because past that point you have the macro confluence, and then you can start targeting these resistances. Other than that, there's no... Pretty satisfied with these entries. And I mean, if everything works out, you know, it'll be 300, 400 off of ADA, 200 to 300 off of Bitcoin, and then Sol, probably another 200, 300. That would put the account at, you know, just about 1,000, or maybe even a little bit over. And then we have price discovery past that point, and we can take some breakout trades and do some spectacular stuff. But we'll have to get going here soon. I'm hoping to see some sort of nice reaction off of these lows before I walk away, just to kind of give me a little bit of confidence. What's some of the biggest movers today? There's a Harris coin. That's nice. Popcat. I know someone mentioned Popcat. That doesn't look appetizing at all. Here, let's stick to the 24-hour volume on these. Dogs USDT had an ABC bottom. Probably nothing I would take part in, but Had something, right? I still remember the day when you played breakout trades back then. That was a magical time. Magical time indeed. And I look forward to it again. Like I said, breakout trading isn't bad, but there's a time and place to do it. When we are in the thralls of price discovery and people are excited, it makes sense to breakout trade. When we are retesting and in sideways price action, not so much. I mean, the Bitcoin trade has barely done anything, and we have already almost, we're almost at 50% of the profit that the Tron trade has seen. Let's see. Trying to see if any positive funding rate where we got paid to hold our trades. That's the one thing about Bybit. Not Bybit. LBank that I've seen. So Bybit, the funding rate really was consistent. On LBank, it seems to be actually like real time. Like the funding rate is not always towards long or shorts the majority of the time. It switches pretty frequently. Yeah, like I said, I'll leave the Tron short open as kind of like a insurance. But I do have the feeling that we're not going to see much profit on the Tron. It seems to be bullish, and people just don't want to see it go down, I guess. We had that one massive wick to the downside, which was pretty exciting, but obviously we didn't get to take advantage of that because it happened within like 20 seconds. Now, in order for us to continue with the bullishness, we do have to get back above 59K. If we can do that, things do start to look a little bit better. Have we seen TRX on the daily? Interesting uptrend. What even is that token? I don't have like a for sure answer about like what Tron is and what it does. I know it's the backbone of a lot of the USDT transactions. At least the Tron network is. And Tron's pretty strong at the moment. The reason why we took our Tron short was, the downside would be possibly a retest of previous resistance. Obviously, if things went really in our direction, we would be looking at a retest of some of these lows here. Obviously, on a macro time frame, we had A to B to C. And then, we could have a macro A to B to C as well. And then on the smaller time frames, this is what we took our trade off of in the first place. A to B to C. When's my KDA going to moon, bro? Hopefully next 2 to 3 months. So, I mean, that's when the bull market starts, or at least suspected to start. And KDA has collected pretty good support. Has a good long position off of the smaller time frame. And the only real resistance on KDA would be 73 cents. I mean, once we get past 73 cents, it should recover this region pretty easily. And then obviously we need to break $2. But once we break through $2, and more importantly $2.46, there's a gap here of about 300%, where price action can just immediately come back up to some of these highs. So the short trades are in the green, not by a whole lot, don't get me wrong, but pretty positive reaction off of that low there. So, like I said, I definitely still think that it's a possibility that we see kind of this structure come into play. We will get a positive reaction off of this low and possibly get that retest that we were looking for in the first place, up to these levels. And then, yeah, we might have another retest of these lows where it possibly could push slightly lower. But with that being said, I don't think it's worth the chance to sit out. If I see the opportunity for a long position, with everything coming into play, I'm going to take it. Am I working today? Smelly? Yes, I am. As soon as I get off of this, I'm going to go take a shower, become unsmelly, and then go make some money. Man, what the freak? We gotta watch more Evil. Didn't we watch the last episode? And I found out that that's it. This season is the last season of Evil. We watched episode 13, didn't we? Or did we watch 12? Pump it. Pump it. Damn, dude. my Bitcoin profit already is almost superseding my Tron profit. That is so sad. And I think it's because Paramount Plus is kind of a failing streaming service. But I feel like Evil was like just getting started. And there were so many things that they kind of left alone. You know, they never resolved anything to do with Ben and the Gen. IMDb says there's 14 episodes this season. I think we missed one. What? Hold on. I thought there was only 13 episodes. Okay, there is one more episode. I'll watch it with you before I go to work today. How about that? If you're here. Okay, that doesn't piss me off as much, because if the 13th episode was the final episode, because the 13th episode felt like the final episode, like there was a send-off, like they had like the big moment at the end where, you know, they're staring at the church and they shut off the lights, and it felt like that was the closing scene. So hopefully, I'm still sad because I felt like it was such a good show and that like it had a bright future and they were leading it into different avenues. I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel. It feels like everything good is ripped away from you. All right, we'll watch that. I'll be in the stream here in probably about 10 minutes or so. We got our entries. I still need to watch Soul. I don't expect Soul to be rocket shipping up here anytime soon, but I'll be watching that 136.30 entry. How do you switch from perpetual and L-Bank? What do you mean? I mean, so up here in the top right, you have cross and isolated. You have futures, and then if you hover over trade, you have spot trading. You have grid trading. Last night on the way home, I was tasked to grab dinner for Aiden. So I went to Wendy's to get spicy chicken nuggets because he was asking for those the other night. So I wanted to try the new spicy nugs, where it's basically just like nuggets tossed in buffalo sauce. So I ended up, I got to the counter. I was like, what's the largest size that you guys have? And she was like, technically, it's a family bag, but you probably don't want that, right? I was like, yeah, so probably like a 20 piece. So the manager came over for whatever reason, rang it up, and it came out, you know, with a 20 piece nugget, medium fry, and a large Coke. It came out to like $22. So she was like, if you get the family size, it would be about the same price as all of this. So I was like, how many comes in a family size? And she was like, anywhere between 45 and 55. I was like, why is there a variation? She was like, because we kind of just cook a whole bag of nuggets. There's no guarantee on how much is going to be in there. It's just a whole bag of nuggets. So I was like, you know what? Let's go for that. So I ended up coming back to the house with like 50 nuggets. And they're pretty good. Pretty damn good. I got them in the buffalo sauce. I still have like 15, 20 of them sitting in the fridge downstairs. Which they're probably really soggy from sitting in the sauce. So I don't think anybody's going to eat them, but they're there. They're there, Monk, if you want to come grab them. Alright guys, on that note, we were an utter failure because some feminist put in the word today for Wordle. So, to all my knaves out there, it sounds so bad. Hopefully you guys have good days and you aren't dishonest and scrupulous. And yeah, we got some good entries here. It seems to be working out in the short term. Already up a really good bit of profit on Bitcoin. Hopefully Cardano follows. You know, Cardano, we're looking at a possible retest short term of 36.7 cents. And that would put us at $34 worth of profit. So not too shabby. Alright guys, we're going to head off for today. I'm going to go hang out with my monk. And after that I'm going to go to work and make some money. Well, I love you guys and I appreciate you. We'll choose some sort of song here for the outro. I'm going to play this song again. I really like this song. All right, let's do the thing and log off for today. And hopefully when we log on, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, we got good profit on the board. But for right now, just look into my eyes and forget all of your troubles. Bye!
New sense of direction of where you want this to go versus this kind of cold little boy inside where yeah. Open up one more time. Let's hear you too. And
Circle world, I'm still backed up in corners. Don't know if I felt this uncomfortable before. Screaming like a hoy in California. I've been underwater for so long. Box my soul and sell it for a quarter. Don't know if I've ever spoken openly before. Screaming hallelujah, good performance. I've been singing to myself for too long. My ears ringing from the tune of this song. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, oh. wanna flatline, that's why I don't like the view from the backside. This could be my last time, no lie. If I shoot my shot, it could backfire. When you get that hot, that's science. Eventually we all gon' capsize. I'm afraid of falling lately. I guess you could understand, that's why you feel my anxiety upon you. Don't know if you've heard it, but it's right there in the chorus. Screaming fuck the world out of my boredom. From writing all the same damn song. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, oh. Here's to turning heads and turning corners. Don't know if I felt this uncomfortable before. I just know I'm really living for it. I'll get back with you before too